Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here and welcome to Doctor Who Season 14. Starting with my review of Story 1, The Masque of Mandragora. Okay, this one's not that amazing, but it's still fun in some places. It's still got some good stuff. But I will say now it is easily the weakest season opener since The Dominators. It's not as bad as that story, and there will be worse. In fact, only 2 or 3 seasons' time that title's going to be handed over to another story. Whether I believe Rival's Operation is better than this or not depends whether it'll be that or Destiny of the Daleks. But at this point, Masque of Mandragora is the weakest season opener since Season 6. But judging by the other season's openers, they're all really good. Or amazing in some cases. This one is just good. I mean, it's not as good as the other ones, though. Post 6, that is. There are a few pre-6 that are weaker, but, well, 2, I suppose. But anyway, moving on. So the plot of this story sees the Doctor and Sarah Jane get their TARDISes trapped in the Mandragora spiral or something? Helix, the Mandragora Helix. And they land in the 15th century, what is now Italy, but in a fictional place in what is now Italy. And Sarah Jane gets kidnapped by some monks people. I do like how the Doctor just turns up to say, "Excuse me, please don't take her away," to them, and has a really cool pose. And then when one of them just tries to attack him for no reason, well, maybe because he needs to take Sarah, but besides that, just attacks him for no reason, maybe not no reason, but doesn't ask first, doesn't question him first. He just goes straight for the attack. And so the Doctor has some great moments when he's doing that, but they overpower him eventually. But it was still nice for the Doctor to attempt to do that, and it was a pretty cool moment. At this point, the Count of the place, I think. Yeah, the Count, who is the brother of the guy in charge. Am I reading this right? Yeah. Yeah, the Count, who is the brother of the Duke. He's causing trouble. He has the Duke killed, so his son would take over. And the new Duke. He's not as skeptical to the whole star alignment predicted things that the Count's stargazer, I suppose, astronomer. Well, no, actually, no. They're more science-based. What's the one where it's predicting? I'm not sure, but that guy. Does he have his name on here? I can't even remember the character's name. I will say this about the story: you can forget things easily, but basically, guy who has knowledge of the stars. He's basically a fraud, and the Count takes advantage of this to bend to his being, so he can try and become the Duke, and tries to have the new Duke as prophesied to be killed within 2 days. And also the fake star person guy is also the leader of this cult who have kidnapped Sarah Jane for a sacrifice. The Doctor rescues her in a really cool way, although how nobody sees him do it is beyond me. And the Mandragora energy then also takes over the fake astronomer, the fake guy. Let's just say he's the fraud. He takes over the fraud, and he becomes all powerful and all seeing, and he gives his energy to his followers. And eventually, there's a little bit of back and forth between some stuff. But hey. The Count also wants to get rid of the Doctor because he believes him to be a magician or a spy or something. I don't know. He just has no reason to not want the Doctor around. You see, I'm starting to forget things already. I mean, fair enough. If I did this review a day after I saw the story, maybe I'd remember much. But yeah, but there's a bit of chasing the Doctor around for some reason. But eventually the Count is killed by the fraud with the new Mandragora power. The Masque, from the title, is held to celebrate the new Duke's appointment. That was already planned, and they just go ahead with it, but the Mandragora attack. However, the Doctor is able to stop the leader and is able to trick the other Mandragoras, and they absorb all its power out. Absorbs its power, and somehow gets rid of it or something. I'm not quite sure. The ending doesn't quite make sense. I like how the Doctor just is tricks everybody, and he gets rid of the Mandragora, but what did he do? And how did he stop Fraudster? By the looks of it, Fraudster was overpowering him, and that made... Well, okay, that does work in terms of the Doctor then plays a trick on everyone, but I don't know if he explains it. I'm not sure. Again, they seem to be more focused on going back to the TARDIS. So, Masque of Mandragora, it's not difficult to follow, it's just difficult to remember what happened. But the general gist is, Doctor and Sarah Jane land in 15th century Earth after getting this entity in. Sarah Jane gets kidnapped by, I think they're called the Brethren or something, someone they worship. The Brethren, the Doctor gets captured by some guards, taken to the Count. Count decides not to like him, tries to have him executed. Doctor escapes. The new Duke likes him, so has him brought in. Fun fact, the Duke's best friend is played by Tim Pickett-Smith, who people who watched my reviews in 2017 on my main channel will recognise for King Charles III, shortly after he sadly passed away. He also made an appearance in Claws of Axos, but I can't remember the character. Don't think it made much of an impression. But he does a good job here with his character. And also the new Duke is also a really great character. And I like how he's very into stars and science and stuff. And he's a very Renaissance-esque character. The Duke, on the other hand, is a big prick. Basically, he's just an evil prick. He's basically, I suppose, he's kind of like a Richard III character. If Richard III had no redeeming qualities, there's been debates about him over the past last 500, 600 years. Over the past 500 and a bit years. But the Duke Count basically is basically Shakespeare's interpretation, except with no redeeming qualities. Because the redeeming quality with the Shakespeare's version is that he had that really silly line at the end. A horse, my kingdom for a horse. Oh, history's made fun of that. But yeah, the Count is acted well, and so is the guy who plays the fraudster. His character is actually pretty good, I'll say that. The thing is, it's just difficult to remember what's happened in this story, and I was finding it difficult to remember the next day, the day after watching it, let alone 2 days after watching it. So, I mean, it's not completely forgettable, and there's some notable stuff. Also, fun fact, the Duke gets to dance with Sarah Jane. Heck, I remember that. I mean, it's not a bad story, it's just not that great. It's enjoyable. Yeah, I think I just don't know why the Count wants to get rid of the Doctor. Why are they annoyed with him when they first meet? He's just on the road, he's asking if they saw Sarah Jane, and they're just grumpy. I don't know, maybe that's just a general attitude. The Masque of Mandragora just feels... I don't know, it just feels like there's something off. It's got some good moments, but it just feels a bit off. And the first couple of minutes when they're in the Mandragora spiral, helix, kind of goes on and for quite a while, but also it's a bit fast-paced. I mean, they're in the TARDIS corridors, they go to the new control room, quick look around, then they're stuck in the helix. It's all happening so quickly, and then they're just stuck in the helix for about a minute, and it just takes a while till they get through. They visit the inside of the helix. That's pretty decent, even if 1976 budget doesn't make it look a bit fake, but hey, it's still pretty cool, and the energy effect itself is also pretty decent for the time. But on the whole, I don't know, it just feels like there's something off. And yeah, I mean, it's a good story, but I don't know, there's just something that was off about it. And I can't put my finger on it. It just felt a bit off in quite a few places. Part 4 was really enjoyable, though. I'll say that the 4th episode was a very good story, although, again, it has a little bit of a dragging out in some places. But it's still really good. But it's not a masterpiece. I don't know, there's just something that was missing from this story. I don't know what. It was just, there was something missing. I can't put my finger on it. But there was something off. Maybe if it was a bit more focused on the historic angle, well, I suppose the sci-fi angle was a bit more needed for this story. But yeah, I don't know. There was something just a little bit off, and that's hindered my enjoyment. I just can't put my finger on what it was. So I'm going to give the Masque of Mandragora a 7 out of 10. The mental block that's preventing me in liking it or thinking it's good enough to go higher. I don't know, there's just something missing for me. I'm not sure what it is. It was something that the last season had, but this season didn't have it. It's not performances with our lead characters. No, they're still really great. And to be honest, it is Louis Marque's 4th script and second in a row, not in terms of story in the season. And the one he just came off of was one of my least favourite stories of all time. So he's basically doing Robert Holmes but going backwards. If what I mean is that Robert Holmes, he did The Crotons, which isn't too popular. I thought it was good, but it wasn't too popular. Then he did The Space Pirates, which is one of the worst stories of all time, my personal least favourite. Then he goes on to do Spearhead from Space, which is fucking amazing, and then Terror of the Autons, which is great, and so on. More great stories after that. Yeah, a few duds later on, which we'll get to, but mostly great stuff since then. With Louis Marques, he's done 2 great stories with Doctors before Tom Baker, with Planet of Giants. He did a great story, and a really great story with John Pertwee's Day of the Daleks. Planet of Giants was William Hartnell. And then we got Planet of Evil, which I didn't like. I know some people do, but I just can't stand it. And then this one, which feels like he's good again, but there's still something missing. I suppose it's some of that Louis Marques Planet of Giants, Day of the Daleks magic that was missing from his Tom Baker scripts. And yeah, it's just whatever made those first 2 scripts good didn't work last time, and just there isn't enough of it here. Although there must be at least a little bit, because it is good. This one's good, just weaker. That's all. I don't know. It just feels like there's something off. And for what is another populous, and for the beginning of another popular season of the show, it's a bit of a disappointment. I mean, it's not the worst story of the season. We're gonna get to that later, halfway through the second half of the season, not the first. Don't worry, Deadly Assassin fans. It's not the Deadly Assassin. It's the next one. Not the next one after this story. The one after Deadly Assassin. But the one before Deadly Assassin is the next one. The Hand of Fear, Sarah Jane's final story. So, you're next, then the Deadly Assassin, then the weakest one of the season. Okay, so that's it from the Masque of Mandragora. Thank you for watching this sort of belated review, because I couldn't really put my finger on what was wrong with, apart from a few nitpicks. But, yeah, it's because of that is why I can put it very high. But oh well, but next time, the Hand of Fear. This one I do know why it works, and in some places why it doesn't quite work. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. No. You just... I don't know. And... I don't know, and why are they so grumpy all the time? He's just talking to them. And why? I'm like, who are you? Shush. I'm not sure, just so, anyway. It's just something else.